Hey everybody, thanks for coming back and seeing part two of this video. Um, I really struggled with if I should do anything else with this painting. I really like how it is. I like the contrast between the highlight in the sky, the dark clouds, how the land is broken up with the highlights. I really struggled if there was anything I really wanted to do to it. So I came to a couple conclusions. I want to start by put a couple yellow tonal values right through here. I want to leave this bright. I want to leave that the white, but maybe this part here I'm going to stain with a little bit of yellow and a little bit of this, and we'll just kind of blend it off with a little bit of yellow. Maybe let it pick up over here in this highlight area. Just to warm that part up as a direct contrast to all the cool colors that are there. And then this part right through here, I want to blend out just a little bit more. I'm going to use some Prussian blue, some Payne's gray, and some titanium white. And I'm going to just rub it in here, rub it up, just kind of blend it in with the existing clouds. Now, this painting is bone dry. It's dry. We're ready to go. You don't want to use these glazing techniques if your painting is not. You're just going to make it not dry. You're just going to make a mess, and it is not what you want to see happen after spending some time putting together something that just came out so nice. And I think that's really the only two things that I want to do. I want to bring that blue, I think, down here a little bit on these trees in the background. Right here, you can see there's this dark piece right here, and then it's kind of fighting against the background there, the far tree line. So in order to separate that, you want to separate the values. Again, the values, it's different. Values are different than hue or color. Value is a degree of like dark to light. So lighter value, darker value. It doesn't matter what colors you ultimately use. If your values are correct, this could be purple. This could be green, and it would still look correct, visually correct. Values matter. So but like I said, this painting, it's dry. So I have to prep the canvas first before we even want to start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some liquid stuff right here, and I just want to prep the areas that I'm going to be putting a little bit more paint on that I want to accept. I want the blending to be easier. And some of those areas, like I said, we're right through here. And so this, like I said, this is going to be a couple reasons to do this. One is going to make the blending easier. Secondly, it's going to help this paint that I'm going to put on here to dry a little bit faster. So I don't need much. I don't want it so much on the part that I'm going to put the yellow. I'm not going to try and I'm going to blend it, but I want to use it more as a stain than I do actually want to put a bunch of paint color on there. Let's start with some Indian yellow. And I'm just going to use my finger. I just put a little bit on the tip of my finger right there. And I'm just rubbing it in. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and rub it off. Just like that. Just blending it. I don't want those edges to be too harsh. I just want some nice color value, or color, just some hue to come through there. I don't want it to be flat, so I'm not making this like entirely yellow. I'm just letting it fall off, letting the yellow that's on there kind of mix, overlay, because it's a transparent yellow. This is Indian yellow, so it's very transparent. So it's gonna, so the blue is there, the yellow's gonna go on top of it, and it's gonna kind of seep through a little bit. So it's gonna get kind of a greenish hue, which is perfectly fine. No, I have no problem with that at all. Maybe some up in here. And this went on a little bit lighter, so yeah, it blends a little bit nicer. Again, this is just, I just want to stain some of these areas. Just to give it a little, just gives it a little bit of depth, or I don't mean necessarily depth as in distance, but depth as in color and hue, and a little bit more interesting bits than if it wasn't there. And I'm just playing a little bit now. On the camera, it's a little bit more contrasting. You can see a little bit more of the yellow versus on the white right here, and that's fine. If you don't like that, you can always just take a little bit more white and just come in and kind of work on that edge a little bit. Bring that cloud a little bit more forward. I liked it. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but I'm just showing you that there's things that you can do. Just add a little bit more highlight on this. Again, I'm just putting some paint on my finger. Yeah, and then everything else, like all this stuff, we're just going to leave light colored. It brings that focal point right to this area, which is, just adds a lot of vibrancy to an otherwise very, very dark painting. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to move on to the blue-gray misty area I want to put in over here, and push some of those trees back. So we're going to take a little bit of Payne's gray, a little bit of Prussian blue. You don't need too much. Prussian blue is super strong. Something like that. And then we're just going to come up here. Don't worry too much about this painting over some of this stuff. If you have to, just go back over it. And it's a really simple color combination. This was sap green, Payne's gray, maybe even a little bit of the Prussian blue. And just put some more brush strokes back in there, and everything is good. Add a little bit, tiny bit more blue. As we come up here, come up into the cloud a little bit more. A little more of a transition. And then we'll take our brush and we'll smooth out some of these brush strokes a little bit. We'll come down here. We'll push those back. Just wipe off what you don't want. A little bit more right to there. Because we want this clump of trees here in the midground to kind of stand out a little bit. So we'll just lighten up the background right there a little bit more. I'm just really lightly, this is with a paper towel, just there. So that's probably pretty good. So now I just want to, we'll take a brush. I'm just going to take a 1-inch blending brush, and just some circles, just blend it in, just push it around a little bit. See how this through here, it's gotten lighter, so it brings those trees a lot more forward. There, now it looks nice and misty. I'm happy with that. I've got two, again, just like here I had the dark background and the foreground or the midground was competing with each other. We've got the same thing going on right back here. So I'm going to take that same idea and I'm going to push those background trees back just a little bit. Just like that. Wipe off what I don't want, leave that stain that's there. There, just like that. Okay, a couple more things. I want this part, this is water that we had back here. I want this water to be the really highlight area, but it looks like it's going evenly lit. You don't want it, you have to be very, very careful with how your projects are lit. Be mindful of the light source, that light's hitting where it's supposed to and not uniform. So this is a little bit of white there, a little bit of white there, and that's fine. I want to make sure that that's the brightest part. This part back here, I want to darken up just a smidge. So I'm going to take some of that Payne's gray, some of that blue, a little bit of white. And with a brush, I'm just going to put it on here a little bit like that. And then with the paper towel, we'll just rub some of it off. And you can see how it starts to darken up that area. Apply some paint. Rub it off. See? So you're still maintaining a tonal value, but it's still allowing the overall look and feel of the painting to come through. We can darken up some of these edges here. Just put some paint on there. Wipe up what you don't want. Super easy. Okay, now I just want to go one more time. I'm going to put some sap green on my palette. And I'm just going to enhance that edge right there a little bit. Tangents, that's something else. Here in the background, you see the tree line is right here, and it's almost in line with these trees that are in the midground. It's called a tangent when things kind of align with each other. I want to break this tangent, so I'm actually going to use the same color as I'm going to use over here. I want to make these trees here a little bit bigger. I'm not covering up all of this, but I do want to make this stand out a little bit more to help break that tangent. I also need to lighten up that area right there. Okay, so let's see, see, that brush was not giving me the texture that I wanted, so I'm going ahead and swap it out for the brush that I used last time I did that. Just putting a little bit on the corner. And a little bit smaller version of the same kind of brush for this stuff here. I'll just bring this up just a little bit more. And you can see that that brings that really a lot more into the foreground. And using your paper towel, just go in and dab, dab, dab. Lifts up some of the older paint, transplant it. You just make some really, really nice textures and implied shading. If you get too much, you just find a clean spot. And just like that. Okay, so I think I like this. This looks pretty good to me. A couple more. Well, just maybe one more thing. There's this spot right along the horizon. I'll point it out here in a second. Right here behind the trees. When I put some of that blue on there, it got dulled down a little bit, and I don't want that to be dulled down. So I'm just taking some titanium white. Just going across there a little bit, just to kind of brighten up that horizon line. There we go. And there we have it. So what I would like for you guys to do is practice this. Practice your shading. Blend with your. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. Just get in there and do it. These are some of the best brushes that you can get, and they're cheap too. I have got loads and loads and loads of videos on this channel. Everything from acrylics to watercolor to even some airbrush stuff. Go ahead and check out some of these other videos. Maybe it might inspire you to do something cool. Hit me up with what you do. I'd love to see it. If you want some critiques on some stuff, feel free to drop me a line, and I'll be happy to look at your work. And we'll see what you guys can do. I hope you liked this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if there's something specific that you want to see, or if there's a question, something you want to learn. Let me know, and I will see you guys next time.